And we are back here with Lee Addison for one of the last reviews of Queensland League scene this year. How quick's it gone?
I can't believe it. I guess you get to that point where you sort of go, all right, when is the end of the season? Because you're just in a routine, and it took me a few months to get into a good routine for editing and looking at the tapes. And then by the time I did that, we changed to the random number thing. And then you just get to a point where you think, right, when is the end of the season? And you go, geez, it's next week. And that was about a week or two ago. It's just crept up on us. And I think part of that is because we did have a couple of years where things weren't quite normal. So the football season just appears to be the shortest. In some cases, it has been the shortest in the junior game, in the community game. But the Hostplus Cup seems to have flown by.
Yeah, it does. And I think it's because of the fierce competition we've seen this year. It just, it's at one point Burleigh are on top, and then Brisbane Tigers are on top, and then it was just such a whirlwind of a competition that I think it made it go faster. But we're here, and we have the North Devils versus the Redcliffe Dolphins in the Hostplus Cup for the grand final. Lee, what have you got for us today?
Well, the first thing I have got is that, well done to both of them, because in the analysis during the course of the year, I didn't think they'd get there, either of them. You may remember I was quite scathing of Redcliffe earlier on in the year. And when I was like that, I was doing it with all due respect to their coach, who I know very well and have competed against a few times and had good conversation with and great discourse with. And it appears obviously that they have been a work in progress, and they've been progressing, which is a sign of good coaching, and their game plan seems to have changed a little bit. Norths, on the other hand, I remember John Devine dispatching me to have a look at what had changed. And at the time I spoke about how they might have just took their eyes off the 1%ers a little bit. And there's some things I've seen in their game. They just seem to take a few less risks. And I think that's possibly got them to the GF. But look, instead of me just yapping on about it, why don't I share the screen, Taylor?
Yeah, I was about to ask, can you please share the screen so we can have a look?
We're watching Sunshine Coast Falcons, who we've analysed in previous weeks, attack. And what I want the viewer to look at is how easy it is to knock Norths on their back in the collision when the opposition play quite direct. I mean, they're going a bit lateral here. I think at times the Falcons went a little bit too lateral against Norths, but two plays there, Taylor, and Norths are on the back foot. Direct running again, look at that. He made meters that he should never have made meters in that situation. Look at when they play direct, they're marching down the field, Taylor, aren't they? And I think I started looking at this after I saw a couple of things, which I'll show you soon, but that is easy meters. I don't think the Devils were great in the collision then. The left wing for the Falcons trying his inner Ronaldo Mulatalo there with the jump for the high ball. A similar set again, and it's probably worth noting that it's pretty much down the same channel of the field at this point, at least anyway, but nice and direct, plus ones. And again, I mean, we could almost be looking at the same clip, couldn't we, mate? They're going nice and direct, either plus one or around the ruck. They didn't do the earlier shift then. This is a bit more direct, and I would say this set is paying even more dividends. So after seeing this, I started to think, well, this is something that Redcliffe could maybe have a go at this coming week. And I've got a few other clips coming up very shortly that prove my point, because the couple of tries that the Falcons did score were basically from direct running. Here we are, another set again, but coming from the opposite side of the field. That's not a bad collision, but not great ruck control from North Devils. And as a result, they've given away a penalty. They're down the other end of the field. So they're giving away the penalty here. There are a couple of signs where I think the Devils are weak. I mean, they've done a bit of ruck control there, a bit too little too late on their own goal line. And the key is not to go sideways too early. I think the Falcons have possibly done that there. When they go back towards the middle of the field, you can tell that they're trying to play quite expansively. But once they straighten things up, and I think the key is to go a lot of ruck play plus one, nice and direct, watch what starts to happen. Crashing onto the ball, North's defence is clinging on for dear life. Watch this in a moment. They shift, but they do straighten it up. Norths have had to move from side to side a little bit, but even so, it's not like they're playing to the edges here. The Falcons are still quite within the tram lines. This is quite static, and somebody just puts it up the jumper and off he goes. Look at those meters. And I think this is their Achilles heel. Turn the ball back inside, boom, try time. That was an awful set from the Falcons, but just with a bit of tuck it up under the jumper, we're going forward, this is what I'm doing. They got the result. They got the meat pie. Look at this, a bit more simple. +1, straight to the middle of the field. They're in the middle of the field. They can go either way. Crash ball there again onto number 12. So I want you, Taylor, while you're looking at this, to have a think about who's in the number 12 jersey, who's in the front row jersey for Redcliffe, and what kind of damage can they do? Can they do in this instance? They've gone a little bit sideways there, but nothing too extravagant, nothing too tricky. Even this, they're just going back to the middle of the field. This is what I call a chain set, where you keep returning to the middle of the field. And it's all still quite direct. They're not going outside those tram lines. Number 17 tucks it under the jumper. Again, makes some decent meters as a bit of a how's your father kick. But again, it all came, Taylor, from direct running. Now, how good are Redcliffe at the direct running? How good are the Dolphins at this now?
Yeah, pretty good.
That's not a great start. He's ended up on his back, but watch this now. Bang, have some of this. And I think that the Burley defence here in this semi-final was a lot better than North's. Look at how well they're controlling the ruck. But even so, it was a reasonable speed play, the ball. They're obviously thinking about muscling up here, Burley. That's the third play, and already Redcliffe are getting some momentum. The right back rower gets his momentum too. Look at that leg drive. Please put the names in, Taylor. You know what I'm like for names.
Yeah, that's Simbican.
Okay. Again, Redcliffe going sideways after they've earned some go forward, turning the ball back inside. I sounded like a racing commentator here, but they're going again, just playing between the tram lines, and I think they're doing it a bit better than North were. Than the Falcons were. Sorry, because there's a lot more. They're getting that balance right between going sideways and between going forwards. Right? Watch this coming out of their own end now. They get to the middle of the field. They're doing quite a bit of the chain set themselves. They're going to the middle, moving out, going back to the middle kind of thing. Burley, very good at killing that first ruck, aren't they? And normally that doesn't bode well for the attacking side. But Redcliffe have got too much coming in reserve. Number 10 there with a great carry. Once they get a bit of go forward, number 6 or number 7 will get the ball in the hands. Look, they're not taking many risks. And again, look at the meters they're making despite the good ruck control from Burley. Because they're playing direct, they're going at the defensive line quickly. And I think that North are going to have a bit of trouble with this if Redcliffe stick to it. The worst thing Redcliffe can do is go too lateral, because I think that plays into North's hands. They've just been chipping away here, Redcliffe, and they're getting some joy all of a sudden. A bit of direct line, hole running, and I don't know if that was given a try, but it was near as damn it. No, it wasn't. But it was near as damn it, and that has a mental impact on the opposition.
Absolutely.
We've had 3 basically identical starting spots here for the Redcliffe Dolphins. And can you see that they're getting their noses through the line an awful lot more now? We have a dead marine finally. Don't forget, this is a good collision and ruck control side that they're playing against. What I just showed you with the Devils, they don't look great at that to me. There's another dead marine, 2 dead marines on the ground, a bit of speed from dummy half. This is just Redcliffe just chipping away. They've got an axe and they're just whacking it against the tree. And look at the outcome there. So that's a couple of sets there in succession where they've gotten on or over the stripe. Another set of thrown in to see the momentum that Redcliffe get. If they stick to completion, they had one of the highest completion rates of the weekend. Did Redcliffe. This is their Achilles heel, though, the kick chase. I saw a few kick chases that weren't much chop. Now, look how Burley play this set. We're going to look at what Norse can do. They play this set fast. They don't give Redcliffe time to breathe. When a team is big, quite often on the flip, they can be quite poor laterally. they can find it quite hard to defend tackle after tackle after tackle. And if you play at speed, you play the ball quickly, throw shapes and numbers at them, turn the ball back inside a little bit like this, you can have some joy against Redcliffe. So I think what North have got to do is play at pace, turn the ball back inside on occasion, not all the time, but they've got to get that balance right between playing sideways and going forward. And Burley were actually very good at this, because when they went sideways there, look how that opened up. You've got to play at pace against Redcliffe, footwork at the line, bodies in motion, get down, get a quick play the ball. Next one, exactly the same thing, bodies in motion, get some footwork close to the line, find your elbows and knees, quick play the ball. And when the time's right, you move it sideways, just like they did then, because Redcliffe are somebody that you can open up maybe 2 or 3 defenders in. I did also notice that Burley was sending quite a lot of traffic at number 6. Who's number 6 for Redcliffe, Taylor?
Bryce Donovan.
There you go. So he copped quite a bit of traffic. The other thing, he got his 40-20 away quite easily there. No kick pressure. Didn't even see it. And this is, again, a back-to-back defensive set for Redcliffe. They're on their own goal line. And again, it's about playing at pace, turning the ball back inside or nearly inside. Look at the body language of the Redcliffe defenders. They've got some big spaces there that they're leaving open. So if you can scream onto the ball at pace, play the ball at pace, have bodies in motion, get the balance right between moving sideways and forwards. You need the ball to go sideways, but you need your players to go forward. Look at this at pace, Taylor. Pace, 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 pace. And that's a halfback rolling over the try line. Now, let's see if Norse can put that together. They look dangerous when they do. When they get that balance right between going sideways and going forwards, this is why they're in a grand final. I like what they're doing so far. He's a big unit. Who's that, Taylor? As you can see, they are rolling. They're playing relatively direct. The Falcons are struggling to keep hold of them. Number 9 coming out from dummy half. Great stuff there. Who's that, Taylor?
Kieran Mosley.
Yeah, he's brilliant, mate. He caused so much damage as the game went on. And again, this is North. Even though they're very good laterally, they are playing an element of direct here. I'll try not to be a racing commentator. That's twice now I've turned into the Derby commentator, the Grand National. The Norths are very capable at playing at pace. They're very capable of throwing shapes around the ball. They're very capable. And I think one of the things they've done under the new coaching duo is just simplified their game somewhat. You may remember a year ago, Rowan Smith's team started the grand final targeting one side of the field with 80% of their clips. That was the first of their clips of their sets and their plays. That was the first clip I did all year. But look at what Norse can do when they play direct. Look at that. Now,
it's turning to Musa, very dangerous coming under the ball.
So they've just got to get that balance right. They've got to make Redcliffe think they're going to go to the edges and then play through them, or they've got to make Redcliffe think that all they're trying to do is play through them and then play to the edges. They've got to do that yin and yang. So I'm predicting, Taylor, an excellent grand final where one team might get 10 or 12 up and then all of a sudden the momentum shifts and it's 12 all or 12-10 or something like that. That's the kind of game I'm thinking. If Redcliffe hold on to the ball and don't give away too many silly penalties, I think they could get quite a comfortable win. On the other hand, I don't think North can absolutely flog Redcliffe, but what I do think they have to do is play a patient game, just keep chipping away with speed, with a mixture between sideways and direct, kick chase like this where they put pressure on. They need to mix it up because Redcliffe showed some signs when they were defending that they don't like to be put under pressure of speed and momentum. And the Falcons are very good. I mean, we've analysed the Falcons and they're quite good defensively and look at the 6s and 7s they're at now just because Norse get that balance right. So I really think, mate, that if Norse are going to win, it's going to be a close one, 24-20, something like that. Redcliffe could run away with it, though, because of the way they go forward. That's my prediction. Don't use that in your tipping if you've not recorded your tips yet, mate. So they're definitely capable of going down the other end of the field, Norse. And I think I've sort of feel like I've come to a natural end there. That clip that I was going to show you, they marched up the field again with just getting that balance right between sideways movement and go forward movement.
Well, Lee, thank you very much for that analysis. The last one, or we might have a look at the grand final next week. We'll see how we go. But
no worries.
Outstanding to have you this year on the Queensland League Scene show. It's been an absolute enlightenment to have you here, and how fitting that the first analysis you did was on the North Devils, and now the last analysis you do is on the North Devils.
I never did I think that I'd be analysing the future Leeds Rhinos coach at the start of the year, the way that's turned out too. So yeah, thanks to all the QLS viewers who've shared their positive feedback. Thank you to you, Taylor, and John Devine, and the producer, Kel. It's been a real pleasure to be on there, and thanks for everything.
Beautiful. Thanks, Lee.